Hey folks, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please be sure to follow and leave a 5-star rating. Folks, I hope all of you who are in the United States celebrated the 4th of July. It was America's 250th year anniversary. Pretty incredible stuff. So I hope you all had a great 4th. And we got lots to talk about, so let's kick it off with the Bitcoin chart. All right, Bitcoin at the time of recording is over 63,000. Specifically, it's at $63,548. So we're seeing a bit of a rally here. Now, I believe this is simply a relief rally because we were oversold and Bitcoin is doing the counter trend move because we were extreme fear sentiment and again, oversold conditions. As we've been tracking though, we are nearing the bottom, guys. I don't know if the bottom's in, I still need more confirmation because we got the bullish divergence forming on that weekly chart and that looks really great. Now, it's important to understand the nuance here. In a bullish divergence, the RSI is ascending while the price is descending. So we may still see another flush downwards, maybe to the low 50s for Bitcoin before we start to move up. So just be prepared for that. Keep that in the back of your mind. But the point is, we are at the cusp of the turning point. The majority of the bear market downside is complete, and I believe we're going to go higher as this bullish divergence completes. And look, bullish divergence can play out over months. So just please understand that. Again, it's the nuance. But what am I doing with this data? I am accumulating. So I'm buying altcoins like XRP, Canton Network, and so on and so forth. Obviously, do your own research. But based on the market cycles, we're seeing some bullish items here. And the other factor is the USDT stablecoin dominance. It is forming a bearish divergence. So you have the inverse happening. So we have confirmation on multiple fronts, not to mention other data points, which I've been sharing with you guys. Now, as it relates to the short-term move, it's possible that Bitcoin could rally to 70K before rolling over and potentially going to lower lows. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but you have to keep an open mind that these scenarios can play out. If you look at the Bitcoin MVRV, it is back above the neutral zone. So the 30-day traders are back in profit again. So again, this could be a short-lived rally. We'll have to wait and see. But we are also seeing that Bitcoin ETFs are seeing inflows again. So Bitcoin ETFs see $221 million inflow, finally ending a painful 10-day selling streak. So markets are cyclical, both from the micro and the macro. So these are things to keep in mind. And, BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF and others are seeing inflows. So let's see what this week brings us. Could Bitcoin rally to 70K over the next week or two? It's possible, especially if you get positive news with the Clarity Act, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But these are things to pay attention to. And like I said, I'm personally accumulating. Now, something I want to highlight, folks, that is not directly correlated with crypto is the US Treasury has officially launched a Trump account. Now, President Trump put his name on it. And I know that's going to trigger a lot of people, but all politics aside, this is very good. And I tweeted out about it because it will influence crypto over time. So I tweeted out, it doesn't matter what your political beliefs are. This is a very good thing. It also helps future generations as central banks continue to debase currency, and it gives kids asset exposure early. In addition, it provides a safety net in a world of less jobs with AI and robots. It also helps to prop up the markets as you have more long-term holders. I'm assuming crypto exposure will be added over time. So as you guys know, the Trump accounts is every newborn gets $1,000. I believe certain kids who are under 10, if I'm not mistaken, they can get an account. They can sign up for an account. I think they get $250. Nevertheless, you can add to it and there's some tax benefits and all that. But the point is you have more holders now of assets. Yes, can individual parents do that? Yes, I have that for my daughter already set up. But the point is, this is automatically being generated for the newborns and for more people to sign up. And this is really helpful for people in different demographics and walks of life who may not have the resources to do these things. So this eventually could get exposure to crypto as crypto becomes an index, kind of like the S&P 500. But again, you have this money going into these accounts, and I believe over time, crypto will be added. All right, guys, we have some very good news around the Clarity Act. So just the other day, I told you guys about the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, Noble, that's the name of the organization. They have endorsed the Clarity Act, becoming the first major law enforcement organization to do so. And we've been covering the sheriffs who have been anti-Clarity Act. Well, all of a sudden, they have shifted their position to neutral. So let me give you the details. The major county sheriffs of America has shifted to a neutral position on the Clarity Act after what it describes as continued discussions in recent days regarding parts of the Section 604, aka the Blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act. In a letter to the Senate banking leaders, the sheriffs said that based on their continued review of the bill, there remains an opportunity to further strengthen the legislation in ways that support responsible innovation and practical needs of state and local law enforcement. Now, I've been telling you guys, I believe the banks are influencing this organization, but it's great to see that they went from anti-Clarity Act to neutral. And it comes right after the other law enforcement organization, came out and said, we support the bill. So it makes them look really bad, the sheriffs, right? It makes them look really bad that they're saying anti when there's a lot of provisions in there. But again, the banks pulling the strings here. But nevertheless, guys, this is great. The tides are turning. And I hope to see more and more of these folks come out and support the bill. And I know some people are going to say, who cares about these guys? Well, guys, to get this thing through the Senate, there's a lot of opposition. So the more people we can get in support, the more we can tip the scale in getting this bill passed, right? And getting more people on board. However, there's no guarantee it's going to pass. Time is of the essence. It is running out. Congress, I believe they're back till July 13th. That doesn't give us much time. So let's see what happens. There is the possibility there's a major issue here. The one thing I'm more concerned about now is the ethics piece. The recent disclosure of Donald Trump's crypto holdings and the amount of money he's made from his meme coin and so forth, that does not help this bill at all. I mean, we talk about horrible timing, talk about bad optics. It's why I've been saying from day one, this is not something an elected official should have. And now the chickens are coming home to roost. So this is not going to bode well because a lot of Democrats are chomping at the bit. And look, maybe rightfully so, right? Because again, no elected official should have this. But obviously there's a larger issue at hand when it comes to ethics here because Congress and elected officials, they trade stocks. They trade gold, oil, all these things, right? Not just crypto. Crypto is not the only problem here, but a lot of Democrats are going to be able to use this information and use it against people trying to move the bill. So let's see, guys. It really sucks the news that came out recently, but I hope we all get surprised and this thing makes it through, and we'll see how it all pans out. Now, speaking of ethics, U.S. Senator calls for ban on elected officials issuing meme coins. So Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who's a big crypto champion and she's a Democrat, has put out this information. But again, it should not be just about crypto. It has to be about all assets. So Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, one of the U.S. lawmakers behind negotiations for a digital asset market structure bill in Congress, has proposed barring elected officials and the president from issuing or sponsoring their own tokens, citing President Donald Trump's and First Lady Melania Trump's meme coins. In a Friday notice, Gillibrand said that Congress should support measures barring elected officials and their spouses from issuing or sponsoring their own digital assets. The New York lawmaker said that the proposed restriction would include any president and their spouse, but did not specifically mention extending the provision to the office of the vice president or any other members of their families. Here's a quote: "This is a common sense requirement that should get broad bipartisan support. Public officials and their spouses should not be issuing meme coins." Yeah, they should also not be trading stocks with insider information. So again, there's a larger ethics issue here that we need to crack down on. But maybe this is a good start, right? And they can keep adding to this bill. But let's see what happens, guys. I was feeling more optimistic before the disclosure of Trump's crypto holdings about the Clarity Act passing. Now, not as optimistic, but I hope I am wrong and we all get a big surprise. All right, folks, let's move ahead. Ondo Finance debuts SEC-aligned tokenized stock model with BlackRock ETF Micron shares. So the tokenization race is heating up, and Ondo, of course, playing a huge part of that. and they've been doing a lot with the TradFi institutions. So Ondo Finance launched blockchain-based versions of BlackRock's iShares Core S&P 500 ETF and Micron Technology shares in a structure designed to operate within the existing U.S. securities system based on the SEC's staff statement for third-party tokenized securities in the U.S. The company said Thursday the tokenized securities are issued on Ethereum through Oasis Pro TA, an SEC registered transfer agent Ondo acquired last year. Financial infrastructure provider Broadridge will handle proxy voting, regulatory disclosures, and shareholder communications, allowing token holders to receive the same governance rights as investors who own these securities through traditional brokerage accounts. Wow. Look at what's being built, folks. And notice Ethereum being used here. Now, obviously, these firms are going to use multiple blockchains. Obviously, they're using Ondo, right? So I hold both ETH and Ondo in my portfolio. The reason why I say that is not to pump my bags or anything, but my point is I take the approach of looking at which blockchains are getting real world adoptions from these big institutions. Now, it's not the only factor. Again, you got to look at other things, but obviously this is a very strong reason as to why you want to hold these tokens in your portfolio. So it's incredible what's being built. And here's another example. Tokenization's next use case is personalized portfolios. New York Life investment executive says. So Thomas Tsai, head of multi-asset solutions at the $800 million asset manager, says blockchain can enable complex portfolio construction that's not yet possible in traditional finance. He's absolutely right, because once you put these assets on the blockchain, you can fractionalize them, you can put them into DeFi, and you can take bits and pieces of different assets and just merge them together, and you can have atomic settlement, and that could be swapped out, with an AI agent managing it. There's so many possibilities. So as Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, said, tokenization is the future of finance, guys. Everybody is on board looking to do this. So he said blockchains could eventually allow asset managers to craft tailored portfolios to individual investors at a scale, something that today's financial system cannot. He said, we believe the future of asset management is going to be customization. And again, in order to achieve that, you need the assets tokenized. And you can get really creative, and the portfolio, again, can be updated in real time because it's all settled instantly. And again, if you have AI agents who are monitoring it by the second, not that you must have your portfolio update every minute, you know what I mean? But rather, if you're trying to get the best performance out of that portfolio, there may need to be specific times where things are swapped out in a 1 minute to 2 minutes and so forth, right? Based on market movements and what's happening. So I think Thomas is spot on here. Folks, a great place where you can invest in crypto and precious metals is on iTrustCapital. You can do that via an IRA. You may say, why the hell would I want to invest in these assets via an IRA? Well, it's the tax exemptions. When you sell your assets for a gain, you have to pay capital gains tax, long-term or short-term. Well, if you do it via an IRA, you don't have to pay those taxes. So there's huge tax advantages by investing via an IRA. And again, you can get access to over 90 crypto assets, even staking, as well as access to stable coins. And then if you're also bullish on precious metals, gold and silver did really well recently. You can diversify and have those in your portfolio. And the great thing is it's not paper gold or silver. It is the physical assets. If you ever want to claim that asset or redeem it, you can do so. So it's low fees, no monthly fee. You can buy and sell crypto and gold and silver 24/7. And folks, iTrustCapital also has a great custodial product called Premium Custody Account. So it uses Coinbase Prime and these bigger institutions. So you're getting the same level of custody as BlackRock. BlackRock uses Coinbase Prime. It's a closed loop system. So if someone hacks into your account, they can't withdraw funds, and you can buy and sell within it 24/7. And folks, I have an account with them. And by the way, I have a dedicated rep who's working with me, and I put his contact information in the description. His name is Ryan. So if you have any questions as you go sign up for an account, you can reach out to him and he can help you. And if you sign up at my link, you can get a $100 funding bonus. So go check it out. Go to itrustcapital.com/go/thinkingcrypto. Link will be in the description. Okay, moving ahead, eToro invests in on-chain derivatives platform Extended as brokers race into DeFi. So eToro, they started out as a stock trading platform. They now have crypto. I've interviewed the CEO and quite a few folks from there over the years, and they're in competition with Robinhood and others, right? So it's great to see that these folks are integrating DeFi and different types of crypto technology. It shows where things are headed. So digital broker eToro is doubling down on decentralized finance as online brokerages race to bring blockchain-based trading to mainstream investors. The company led a $12.5 million funding round for Extended, an on-chain perpetuals futures exchange founded by former employees of the London-based fintech Revolut. Jump Crypto and Albert Blank also participated in the round. The investment builds on eToro's $70 million acquisition of self-custody wallet Zengo, announced in April, and offers a clearer picture of the company's on-chain strategy. Here's a quote: "We are seeing growing demand from our users for seamless access to DeFi products," Elad Lavi, eToro's executive vice president of corporate development and strategy, told CoinDesk. "Our recent acquisition of Zengo and our investment in Extended are key parts of our strategy to meet this demand and expand our Web3 ecosystem." So the infrastructure being set up for mass adoption, folks, not only for retail, but for institutional investors. All right, moving ahead. Folks, recently I told you all about the OUSD, OpenUSD stablecoin, which was a consortium stablecoin, which included BlackRock and some big names, Visa, Stripe, and so forth. However, there's some weird controversy coming out. Apparently, some of the participants that were listed, like Samsung, said, hey, we never agreed to this. So I don't know if someone pulled the trigger too quickly here, didn't get the confirmation from these big players, but they're saying, hey, what? This is a joke. We're not part of this. So they said the Open Standard had inquired about their willingness to participate, and they responded that they would review the matter. So it's something weird is happening here. But again, BlackRock, Visa, and these folks are part of it. I don't think that this is going to be something that sets them back, but just maybe some really bad management of who was going to be participating. So this is a strange one. And here's another strange stablecoin news item. This sanctioned Russian stablecoin claims it processes billions, but blockchain analysts disagree. A7A5, I remember reporting this to you guys, claims crypto data providers understate its trading activity, while blockchain analytics firm says the ruble-backed tokens volumes have fallen sharply this year. So this was created to bypass sanctions, specifically, Russia trying to, facilitate their own payments, bypass the sanctions and much more. But they've been saying their volume is higher and much more. So again, another weird news item, but I guess this is all par for the course, right? As this technology gets adopted, you're going to see the common business issues, malpractice, and whatever it is that exists for other companies, right? So not everyone's going to run a tight ship. So let's see where this goes. I'm curious to see what the U.S. does with this stablecoin. If they're obviously, I don't think they're going to be able to stop it, but nevertheless, could these situations, news items, and much more be catalysts to help push the Clarity Act through, right? That you have these things happening and you can use them as leverage and say, hey, Congress, got to get it done. Anyway, we shall see. Moving ahead, South Africa proposes crypto tax guidance under existing framework. So across the globe, we are seeing many countries and jurisdictions putting out their crypto guidance, and South Africa continues to expand. So South Africa's tax authority proposed draft guidance clarifying how crypto assets are taxed under existing income and capital gains tax rules, seeking public input until August 31st. We need to get that done here in the United States, because once the Clarity Act is passed, you need to figure out the tax implications so people will know what they're working with here. And I think that's the next major legislation after the Clarity Act, if we can get the Clarity Act done. Now, many of you may know the crypto tax legislation is called the Parity Act, right? So we shall see what we can get done this year, if not early next year. Folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't as yet. Be sure to support the podcast by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It is 100% free on Substack. I will be putting out a write-up tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. I include a lot of chart data and information that you can study and review and go to at any point. Again, it's free. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. Grab a copy if you can. And if you want to expand your knowledge about crypto, because knowledge is power, check out my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you everything you need to know about crypto and blockchain tech. It features expert commentary, which no other crypto course out there offers. And right now, we got a huge bear market sale. Get 50% off the price of the course by using the code BEAR, BEAR, at checkout. So go to mycryptocourse.com to learn more. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.